Welcome to Sports Zone. I'm your host, John Phillips, and I'm joined by Ian Cropper and Jeremiah Richards as we are talking about UNT men's basketball. We just beat FAU 73-72. How are you guys feeling about the game?
I thought it was a great win. I mean, guys like Jay Sean and David Terrell really showed me something today. I mean, that backcourt came out. It was like they took turns. The first half, it was David Terrell. Second half, I mean, Jay Sean made 7 straight field goals. It was crazy.
When you have a guard score like that, you're going to win a game. I mean, and we did. Ian, how'd you feel about that game?
I also felt great, although I was nervous at points. There were a lot of lead changes there, but Deshaun was on fire in the second half, especially after a fairly dormant first half where he only had 5 points. But in the second, he was dominant. He could score from anywhere, from the paint, from the free throw line, from the three-point line. He just could not be stopped.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of guards that can't be stopped, FAU, before the game, there's a lot of concern. Are we going to be able to stop Josiah Parker and Cannon Carlisle? How did you guys feel we did defensively this game in stopping those guards?
I thought we played a great defensive game, honestly. I saw flashes of a little zone. I feel like we came out in 2-2-1 back to a 2-2 or 2-3 zone. Forced them to go into the paint, played hard man defense full court. I thought it was great.
Absolutely. Jason Burns really been experimenting with zone as we've gotten later into the season. Ian, how do you feel about these experimenting with our defensive scheme late in the season?
Well, I think it mostly worked. It's worth noting we did have a little bit of an advantage because the star player on FAU, Devin Vanterpool, has been out for a few weeks. But we did shut down their second and third leading scorers, Cannon Carlisle and Isaiah Eloam. But it is worth noting we did struggle against some of those guys lower on the depth chart. Josiah Parker scored 18, and Amar Mku off the bench scored 14. So I would like to see us tighten up for some of those more fringe bench players.
That's fair. I will say I think Josiah Parker has a future as more. You know, he's a true freshman this year, and I think he's been really electric. So I think a tough matchup for our team, but I would like us to see us tighten up a little bit on defense. How do you guys feel about us going into the Charlotte game? You know, we play Charlotte coming up next. How do you guys feel about it?
I mean, the key to that game, I feel like, would be offense. Like I said, backcourt is very powerful in a game of basketball, and when Jay Sean and David Terrell especially when they're going together at the same time, we play great basketball. So as long as they're both having great games, I think we'd do just fine.
That's fair. Ian, if these guards don't have great games, if they struggle, do you think we have a chance, or do you think our hopes, rely on these guards?
Well, I think our defense always gives us a chance because right now, despite the struggles against some of the lower-ranked players on FAU, it is still the best in the conference by a substantial margin. I was actually looking at the total defensive points allowed. We beat number 2 Wichita State by 98 fewer points allowed. That is quite a statement, so I think it should do well against Charlotte.
That's fair. What do you think makes our defense so potent this year? What stands out as, is it our big men, is it our guards? What stands out defensively for you?
Well, to me, one man that stands out in particular is Dylan Arnett. He has been the anchor of that defense, leading the teams in rebounds and blocks. Also one of the top defenders in the conference, just a phenomenal forward.
How about you, Jeremiah? Does anyone stand out defensively for you?
I'd piggyback off Ian. Yeah, Dylan Arnett's great. I mean, even when I'm in the pit, you can see the energy he brings, from the blocks to rebounding, even just from not allowing entry passes from other big men to get in. He really fights in the paint, and he holds it down, honestly.
Speaking of big men, we've seen Josiah Shackelford. He was kind of our best big preseason, and then he got injured. He's missed most of the season, but he's been coming back slowly and slowly and slowly. How do you guys feel about him coming back? Do you think that he could play a big role for us come March?
Absolutely. I mean, you take the best defense in the conference, add another star big to it. That is just a match made in heaven right there. It could be a deciding factor going into the conference tournament.
Yeah, and we got to talk about the conference tournament. I mean, it's getting close to crunch time, and we're still kind of on the bubble right now. We're still fighting to clinch a spot. Jeremiah, do you think that we're going to make the American tournament?
I think we will. I think we're floating at about the 9th seed right now. 10 teams get in, but when we do get in the tournament, like I said, when it comes to March, it's all about backcourt play. Who's going to go down there, lead your runs, go down there and get you a bucket when you need it?
That's fair. And, I mean, Ian, do you think that we're going to make the tournament? Who do you see as our biggest threats,
Well, I think UTSA and East Carolina are pretty much out of the picture. So
Really?
Yeah, a huge surprise, I know.
Catch up?
So that leaves Rice, and theoretically there is still a scenario where if we lose all our remaining games and they win, they would have a higher conference record than us. But it is worth noting, we play Charlotte, which is a team that we've beaten teams of a similar caliber before, and tonight they play USF, who's the top team in the conference, so I do think that bodes well for us, and of course, we end our season against them at the Super Pit.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be a big game. Jeremiah, how do you see the rest of this regular season going up? Do you think that we're going to have a good end of the season, get momentum coming into conference tournament play?
Yeah, I think it'll be important for these guys to get momentum coming into the conference play because, like I said, Our defense is great. You know, we're first in points per game off defense, third in field goals, first in steals per game, and even second in three-point field goals made. But, like, when it comes to this conference play, you got to – basketball is a game of runs. So you just got to have energy, make sure guys are getting momentum going in from one game to the next, and keep your guys healthy. We'll be just fine.
Completely true. I mean, Ian, do you think that this team has what it takes to make a deep run in the American Conference Tournament?
Well, like I was saying last week, it's actually very rare for late seeds in the conference tournament to go far. In fact, in its entire history, there have only been 2 teams that won that weren't the 1 or 2 seed, and one of those was 2016 Connecticut, which isn't even in the conference anymore. So I would certainly love to see it. Unfortunately, I can't hold out my hopes.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. We all want to hope that we'll do well in the conference tournament, but it's not very likely. But, I mean, if we do, let's dream a little bit, Ian. Let's dream. Do you think that it's going to be on the backs of our guard play? Do you think that duo is going to be what brings us far if we do win?
I do think so. That'll play a role, but I'm more confident in that defense just being impossible to get around. Like, if they really solidify up, we could challenge some of those top offenses and maybe sneak our way towards the later rounds of the tournament.
That's fair. Jeremiah, who do you see as the top contenders in this American Conference? Who do you think is going to represent our conference come March?
You know, I like USF. I don't want to be biased, but, you know, when UNT makes shots, I mean, obviously right now I think we're a 30% average.
If that, it feels like a lot lower than that if we're being real.
I mean, this team couldn't hit the broadside of a barn, but like if we make shots, I feel like we can definitely knock off some of those top teams.
I hope so. I mean, Ian, who do you see as those top teams that we could maybe knock off according to Jeremiah?
I mean, if we're talking about someone who we could knock off, I wouldn't be surprised if we actually knocked off Charlotte in the conference tournament. They're not too high, but honestly, I think their record is a bit deceiving because they're towards the middle or bottom on both offense and defense, as opposed to us where we're near the bottom on offense, but right at the top at defense. So they could be a bit of a paper tiger going forward. As for which team will win the conference, I actually like Tulsa because if you look at it, they're very high in both offense and defense and have the best margin in the conference.
That's fair, and I think that Charlotte is a team that I'd have confidence against because I think coaching is a big part, and I think Aaron Fearon, the Charlotte coach, is one of the worst coaches in the American. But speaking of coaches, I mean, we're in danger of missing the American tournament. I do think we end up making it, but do you think Coach Robinson's job should be questioned a little bit for this, down season?
I don't think so. You know, Coach Robinson, he showed me a decent ordeal from the handful of games that I've been to face-to-face. I think, obviously, I feel like our team is a little lackluster on the talent this year, but I feel like you give him maybe 2 more years, I think he could really come in and show us a little, get us to the top of the conference.
Ian, do you agree? Do you think this is the top of the conference?
I'm not sure I do, because keep in mind the scenario that would have to happen for us to miss the conference tournament. It would basically take a complete collapse by us and a massive show of form by Rice. And if we have that collapse, I do think the coaching might need to be looked at. Again, I don't think it's likely, but in the scenario where we miss the the conference tournament, that is something we need to consider.
I completely agree, and you could say it's high standards because of how good this program has been, but I mean, this is a program that wins basketball games, and we just haven't done that this year. I mean, last little question, how do you guys think we're going to end the season? Do you think we'll be that 9 seed, or could we even sneak up a little bit higher? Because I don't think we'll fall, but could we get to maybe the 8 seed, get a better matchup first round?
I don't think we'll fall, but I think we stay at the 9 seed.
It's close. I think we might just barely eke out Memphis, but it remains to be seen.
I mean, we will have to see. There's not a lot of season left. We're almost to the end of it, but we have to hope that we make the tournament. We have to hope that we do well because that's what we're used to at UNT. But next block, we'll be talking about the better team on campus, the women's team. So join me after this commercial break.
Tired of seeing the same old city? You want to learn something and go overseas? Then study abroad with one of many UNT study abroad programs. You can find a study abroad office right here at Markey Hall, room 145.
My study abroad program left on me a great impression. We have a lot of different programs and it varies. We have faculty-led, affiliate, and exchange programs. When you're ready to leave for your study abroad program from UNT, you're going to go through the Canvas, you're going to go through pre-departure, orientation, and modules.
The power to turn the world into your classroom is right here at UNT with our study abroad programs. Take flight and take in charge of your education.
There's no harm in wanting to have fun while in college, but it's easy to lose track of how much you've had. Apps like Drink Control and Alkadroid can help keep track of your consumption and blood alcohol levels. If you or someone else does drink too much, the signs of alcohol poisoning are as follows: pale skin, vomiting, confusion, low body temperatures, irregular breathing, blacking out, and is hard to wake up or cannot be woken up.
Dude, are you okay? Hey, what's wrong? Wake up.
It's an exciting time of year, but it's important to be responsible. If you suspect someone is suffering from alcohol poisoning, get help immediately. You will not get in trouble for seeking help if you are underage. For more info and resources, go to UNT's Division of Student Affairs.
Welcome back to Sports Zone. It's your host, John Phillips. In this block, I am joined by Elias Freeman and Beth Spicer as we talk about women's basketball, the best team on campus. And we're not going to talk about tonight's game yet. We're going to leave that for a little bit later. But right now, we just played against Charlotte. We won, double-digit win. How'd you guys feel about that game?
I felt really good. I felt a little nervous considering it was such a close game in the end, and I think it kind of, as someone who's a really big wingspan, it's kind of hard to watch your women's team like lead and they're doing good, and then it's like, oh, we're really close, so please don't lose. So I think it's just kind of concerning, especially getting super close to the American Championship tournament, that I'm just like, please, let's not lose like in the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, we got to get these wins at this point.
I don't know what is up with that, considering I don't really consider that like a problem through the rest of the season, and maybe that is just like a one-off game where it happened. I just don't want it to happen again. So I think that's the only remark about the game, that it's just like we were doing really good, we were leading, and then it's like, I don't know, things fall apart, and it's.
You never want to see that. No. But looking a little more positively, Elias, who stood out for you? What players stood out for you this game?
I mean, we've been talking about her a lot. Schistler. Come on. I mean, even right now, we'll talk about her later this game. How she's doing right now, we'll talk about her a little bit later, but come on. She's killing it recently, which I feel like isn't super common when you see teams clinch the conference championship and then they kind of
take
their hands off the wheel and just let it ride until it's time to lock back in. But I mean, her foot is on the gas pedal to the metal. She's still tearing up.
That's fair. And another guard who was tearing up against Charlotte, Jazzy Barnett Owens. I mean, she was really good. I think she had a career high versus Charlotte. I mean, a really great scoring game. They both really impressed me. It was not really the Megan Nestor game that we're used to. Where usually she's dominating the stat sheet, but this game a little bit of a break.
I think they both stepped up to take over where Nestor's been, because I think we realized hey, we're going to win close championship. We don't want you to go down in a game unexpectedly. We need, the same way they do in any sport where it comes close to playoffs, our best player.
And we're seeing that rest today. Speaking of tonight's game, we're in the third quarter right now, and Megan Nestor's at single-digit minutes in the third quarter for UNT. That's not a sight you see often, but we're still up by 20-plus points because UTSA, 0% from three. 0% from three and under 40% from the field. Just not what you want to see. I mean, how do you guys feel about this game so far? How have we been doing?
I mean, I feel good. I mean, I'm really thankful considering we did lose to them early in the season. So I think this means a lot for us that we can play a team and then come back from them, especially going into Saturday. We play South Florida because they kind of destroyed us last time we played. So I'm feeling much better that we're kicking everything out of UTSA. So I think it just knows that our team, especially coming, playoffs and everything, that if we play them and we lose, we know what they do, we know what they're like, and we know how to adapt and get better and then come back at them. Because
that's Coach Burton for you.
Even with our star player, Megan Nestor, we know how to play basketball. And I think that's super nice, and I love that for us.
I agree. In this game, you mentioned Andy Schistler earlier. We'll talk about how she's doing. 14 points already in the third, 5 for 6 from 3. I mean, talk about Andy Schistler.
Come on! That's dare I say the GOAT?
On the same team as Megan, the
That's
GOAT.
two goats, one room. Come on.
Goats can
two
coexist.
goats, one court.
They do
Goats can coexist.
I'm tired of all this debate about who's the GOAT. We all know.
Everyone on UNT women's basketball.
It's all of it.
It's every single
basketball
player.
as a whole, actually. So.
Yeah. Well, yes. But just I think it's really special to see them performing the way they are this late in the season. When, like I said, you see this kind of time of year, It's always kind of take your foot off the gas, take a little step. Like we're seeing that with Megan Nestor tonight. She's single-digit minutes in the third quarter. It's got to be maintenance.
It's got to be. I mean,
It's got to be maintenance.
it's performance reasons, actually.
It's performance reasons with Megan Nestor.
It's the matchup.
Performance reasons with one of the best players in the American. So it's got to be maintenance, and for her to just still be performing like this late in the season and not be letting up, like it's really impressive, and I love to see it.
Yeah, because usually late in the season you see the role player step up. And speaking of that, Shania Price tonight, double-digit points already in the third. I mean, whenever you see a bench guard get those type of points, you love to see that. How do you feel about the bench for this team going forward, the depth of this team?
I think they're really good with our depth. I think even though obviously we have like our big 3 stars, I think that that's not where our team ends, and I think that's really good because when you have a basketball team that just relies on 3 stars, you kind of crumble under pressure because they get tired and everyone else gets tired. And so I think having the depth of our bench too, especially like I said, like we go up and then we fall back and then we still continue in the game. I think that pertains to our bench and how like even when our stars get tired after going on these big runs, that our bench still is there. They're still giving us points, even though whatever, maybe our defense isn't the best in those moments. We're not like losing by like 20 points or something. Like we're still in the game, and I think that is super important.
And I think another big part of that is Coach Jason Burden. I mean, one of the best coaches in the conference. But I mean, I think that he has girls like Andy Schisler, firing at their max potential right now because he's such a good coach. What does it do for a program like UNT to have arguably the best coach in program history in Jason Burden?
I think it's so special. We talk about this all the time.
It's like a broken record for me.
Run it back to last week.
Megan Nestor, Jason Burden.
Yep, like you got to hit all the key points. You got to hit all the bullet points. But we got to run it back. It's so special when a team has that trust in their coach and that coach trusts the team. I think that's a missing piece that a lot of people don't really give enough credit to how much it matters. And not only do you have Coach Burden, but like also Coach Jennings working with the forwards. I've seen him coach in person. He is out there. He is working with those girls. Coach Burden, I've watched him coach, and it is a sight to see. I think it's so special watching these guys work with these girls, and you can tell they truly believe in them, and they trust their ability, especially heading into this conference championship, that they trust they can do it. And I love to see it because I trust they can do it.
You trust the conference. We should talk about that. Conference tournament is coming up soon. Do you guys think that we're going to get maybe a top 3 seed with our performances recently? Do you think we could get that, double bye maybe?
If we can beat South Florida Saturday, because they're currently ranked 3rd in conference, and if we, actually I don't know the record, but if we can beat them, I'm not sure if we'll go 3rd in conference, but I am saying that it gives us a really good lookout for the tournament, even if we don't get a 3rd seed in there, but I think we could literally do it. I think we're so unstoppable, but only having 2 games left is kind of hard to like make a big change this late in the season unless you're the men's basketball team who keeps going down, but that's okay. That's their thing. That's not ours. So,
yeah, we're here to talk about the defense. Come on.
We're talk about the wins. But I don't know. I think winning against South Florida Saturday really put us in a really good position of, even though we got beat by almost 30 points, if it wasn't 30, it was close to. So that was really bad. That was really, really bad. So coming back to win that, and maybe even if we don't even win, but just being really close in that game and just being really competitive, I think is a very super important part for us going into this tournament.
Eli, what do you see as the keys against the South Florida team to not repeat that performance, to have a better game too versus them? Who do you think needs to, perform?
I mean,
say it out loud.
But those key players, like, this is the kind of game where you don't maintain performance. You need that performance. You need that edge. You want to push for that double bye, which would be fantastic. But also, I know heading into the conference championship, the possibility of playing Rice again is kind of scary. We talked about it a little bit last week, but I think what I've seen from this team this season is one thing they can do is they can adapt, which I think is a really underrated skill in a lot of teams. Like, we got whooped by South Florida last time. We know how they play now. That's what happened. We got whooped by Rice, and then we came back. We barely lost to Rice. I think they can make that little push. I think it's going to come down to what goes on in the video room, what tape they watch, and it's going to really come down to how well their play style adapts to the South Florida team. When South Florida they're going to be looking to keep Megan Nestor off the glass. They're going to be looking to keep Andy Schisler off the board. They want to keep her from scoring at all. So I think they're going to be focused on those key players while we can focus on adjusting our play to their team.
And I think that's where the depth of our bench really comes in, especially when it comes to these big games where they're going to end up blocking our favorites. They're going to blocking them. So it just means that that bench has to come through, and they have in the past. They haven't dropped the ball. I mean, they do really well. And so against South Florida, they're beating UTSA tonight, and they lost them earlier in the season. So I'm just saying, if we can do it once this week, maybe we can do it twice.
And we have to talk about maybe a third time. You mentioned it, Rice, loss at home, loss away. Does a neutral court change it? Do we get a third chance, and do we win that game if we play them again? What do you guys think?
I think so.
I'm going to repeat exactly what I said last week. Go mean green on the headstone. I think we can do it. I think we can beat Rice. Lost to him real bad. Came back, barely lost, adjusted our play style. I think if you can and that game was riddled with turnovers. I think if you can make that many mistakes in a game and lose by, 72-73, you can come back, you can turn over the ball 22 times, I think it was, and then still barely lose. Come on. Imagine what you're doing when you're playing playoff basketball.
We can only hope. We can only hope. But if we win the American tournament, do you think we have a chance to win a game in March in the real tournament? Do we have a chance with this program? Is Megan Nestor good enough? Is Andy Schister good enough?
I think so. I think we could take at least one game. I'm hoping. I'm really hoping we can. I mean, they came out tonight and before the game, they wore Everyone Watches Mean Green Basketball. And I'm just saying, I think everyone should watch Mean Green women's basketball because they're great. We should watch them in the March Madness tournament.
With performances like this, we have to watch the women's team, and hopefully we can watch them a lot deeper into the tournament in March. That's all the time we have for this blog. Next up, we will be talking about the NFL Draft Combine. So join me after this commercial.
Hey, are you here for the premiere? Come take a sneak peek with us.
Stop. No.
Trust me, you don't want to miss this.
Hey.
Oh, hey.
What's up?
Nothing much. I'm really bored. I feel like there's nothing to do.
Are you kidding? The MRTS picture show is happening.
The MRTS what?
Come with me.
Okay.
It's a series of free film screenings right here on campus. And there's free popcorn.
Nice. Thank you.
I use Flex to buy my favorite snacks.
I use Flex to get me through my mornings.
I use Flex at my favorite campus restaurants.
I love how Flex is a cashless payment method and can be used at all campus dining venues.
So, how do you use Flex?
Welcome back to Sports Zone. I'm your host, John Phillips, and I am joined by William Taylor and Bowie Devlin as we are talking about the NFL Draft Combine. It's draft season, guys. I'm hyped. Are you guys hyped for draft season?
Of course. Oh, yeah. Of course. Ready for
Absolutely. Bowie, you don't really have to worry about it this year with the Super Bowl, but we can still be excited. Going into this draft, what position groups are exciting you guys the most in this? What do you think the strong suits of this class are?
Oh, you know.
All right, I'm going to say defensive line, linebacker, and safety. It's just looking across the board. I think this is more of a defensive strength-wise draft. I feel like defense is really a key part of this whole draft, and I feel like those three positions right there are going to change the teams and their defense on whoever they go to.
That's fair. Those are kind of the only positions with the blue chip players. You have the Caleb Downs at safety, you have Ruben Bain at edge, you have Sonny Styles at linebacker. You have a lot of those blue chip prospects of those positions. So I definitely get being excited for those. William, are there any position groups you're excited for?
Honestly, the linebacker position, the running back position really excites me. I mean, like you said, you have the Sonny Styles, you got the Ruben Bains, you got the players you need, you got the running backs, deep names, you got Jeremiah Love going to this drive, seeing which team takes them in the top 10. I think we got some heavy names. I think it really showcase himself in this draft.
I think Jeremiah Love is someone I really want to talk about because it was announced that Jeremiah Love and Arvell Reese are competing in all on-the-field drills. They're doing the 40-yard dash. They're doing all that stuff. I mean, how do you guys feel? Because a lot of prospects, they kind of avoid that stuff. They avoid all that, the drills on the combine, but they're doing it. They are top prospects and they're still doing it. William, how do you feel about them competing in those? How do you feel about them competing in those drills?
I feel like it's a good show, a show of effort, and it shows that they're willing to put in the work, that they're willing to be able to do what is necessary to win, and that they're born competitors. They're born winners.
I completely agree. Bowie, do you think that Jeremiah Love and Arvell Reese competing in the 40-yard dash and all those drills, even when they don't really need to, do you think that's going to boost their draft stock in some GM's minds?
Yeah, it will, because it's showing that they're two fierce competitors, and I feel like that competition is going to strengthen them for the long run, and they're both just amazing players, so it's something that the fans and the NFL needs to see.
Completely agree, and I want to talk more about amazing players in this combine. I want to know who you guys think are going to stand out at this combine. Who are the people you're looking out for? William, what players are you looking out for?
I'm looking out for C.J. Allen. He's an absolutely amazing linebacker out of Georgia. I mean, he's proven that he can lead with the green dot. I think his size has underwhelmed some scouts, but I think he can definitely improve his stock in interviews and the combine.
That's fair, yeah. I think that with linebackers who are kind of more, mental, the combine is really where they get with these teams and they interview and they really impress. But I see Dejon Stribling also someone that stands out for you. Why does he stand out?
I mean, he got a late stride in the late season for Ole Miss, especially during the playoffs. He's been playing. He was on a heater.
Yeah.
They have bright spots in the wide receiver class. I think he can take the shine away from some of them. I think he can go really high in this draft, a second, third round. I believe so.
I mean, I could see that too. I think he's going to return some really good value based off those late season performances. You always want to see the players stand up in the playoffs. You want to see them step up when it really matters, So I really hope that he does really well at the combine. That's what we hope to see. I'm going to say that my players that stand out, one name that really I really like is Brandon Cisse from South Carolina. He's a cornerback, and I think he's kind of just an athletic freak. He's not really someone who the tape's going to impress you that much or, anything like that. But I think that Brandon Cisse is going to have a really, really dominant combine athletically. And I think that this quarterback class, we can all agree the quarterback class is one of the weakest ones, But I have to say that Cole Payton is someone from North Dakota State. He's a small school quarterback. I think that he could really, really stand out because I think that he has the arm. I think he has the athleticism. That's what you see from these North Dakota State quarterbacks. You see like Trey Lance, Carson Wentz. You see the mobility, but they also have that arm. And I think Cole Payton in a weaker quarterback class could be that second quarterback taken over Ty Simpson. I mean, it's a little bit of a hot take, but I feel that way. Bowie, who stands out for you in this combine?
I got to go with Mendoza, Caleb Downs, Sonny Styles, and Avion Terrell. I just think that those are just the outliers and everything. I feel like they are going to change the game, and they pretty much lead this class.
That's right. I think Fernando Mendoza, a couple people might sleep on him because he doesn't have that prototypical star size or the arm or the accuracy or the athletic. He doesn't really have that standout trait. What do you think makes him stand out for you, Bowie? What makes Mendoza that top-line NFL quarterback?
I mean, just the way he put Indiana on his back, I feel like we haven't really seen that out of a QB in a long time, and I feel like he could really do that for the Raiders because they've needed a help on QB for the longest time, and I feel like he will genuinely change that franchise, and I could see him taking them to 8 or 9 wins.
I'm going to say something even crazier. I think year one, the Raiders, with Kubiak and Mendoza and Ginty, I think they could win a playoff game. I think they can make the playoffs. I think that if you get Ginty, who is one of the best young running backs in the league, you have Kubiak, one of the best play callers in the league, you combine him with a young quarterback who is elite like Mendoza, I think that's a formula that you saw with the Bears. You saw them with some other young teams that kind of overperformed expectations. And I think that Vegas could be that type of team. So I'm really interested in Mendoza to Vegas. Are there any other fits with teams to players that you like? Any things you match up well with?
I think being in a good scenario, I think Caleb Downs with the Cowboys would be absolutely amazing. If he falls to 12, which is exactly what we need to happen, or the Cowboys have to trade up, because right now it's looking like he's going either 5 to the Giants or 7 to the Commanders, which is bad for us. In our division, we need a secondary. We have released Trayvon Diggs. Deron Bland has been not played well this last season. We need safeties and we need cornerbacks desperately.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think every Cowboys fan in the audience and listening right back at home is praying that Caleb Downs falls to them at 12. But I think that there's another prospect matchup that I like a lot with the Cowboys, and that's Sonny Styles. He's been mocked a lot to the Cowboys, but I do think that Sonny Styles is a really good fit for this linebacking core that, like Jack Sanborn right now, it is not a very good linebacking core. Another fit that I really, really like with the Bears is I think that we need to get a D-line. Peter Woods, Caleb Banks, one of those top D-line. I think that the Bears really need that extra edge rusher, that extra pressure from inside. So I think that that could really elevate the Bears. And if we're looking at this weak quarterback class, I talked a little bit about it, Mendoza to the Raiders. Another team that I think could really go for a quarterback is the Steelers. I don't know if they should, because we've seen their track record with the first-round quarterbacks. Kenny Pickett in recent time, not very great, you know. But I think that at 21, we could see them go with maybe a Cole Payton or a Ty Simpson. And I think that, I don't know if they have the weapons to make that work, but that's a fit that I'm interested to see how a young quarterback would deal with the Steelers roster. But Bowie, what fits do you like for players to certain teams?
I'm going to have to go with Caleb Downs and Sonny Styles with the Cowboys. I think that that's like a must for Dallas, especially in that just defense, how bottom half it was. It was horrendous. It was horrendous.
Garbage.
It was horrendous.
It was the worst defense in the league last year. The only defense that was worse than us is the Bengals.
You never want to hear that. I want to have a question for you guys, though, because I've seen most mocks have the Cowboys going with a Sonny Styles or a Caleb Downs, but I've seen every once in a while that a receiver might fall to them, and they might go for an offensive position, even with the players they have. How would you feel if the Cowboys come out of this draft with a Jordan Tyson at 12 or a Carnell Tate at 12? How would you feel about that?
Frustrated. Frustrated. I mean, we know what we need. We have George Pickens. We have CeeDee Lamb. We have Kevontae Turpin. We have a good receiving core. We don't need an extra receiver. Even though that would be great, we need to focus on our needs, which is at cornerback, safety, and linebacker. We have plenty of edges that we can work with Donovan Izaraku. We have James Houston Jr. He played amazing for us last year. Despite that, we need to fix our linebacker core because I don't want Kenneth Murray starting for my team ever again. I don't want Kenneth Murray ever to be seen on my team again. I mean it.
I think that's a completely fair take, if I'm being honest. But I want to talk a little bit about the top of this class. I want to talk about some of the star players. We've talked about Mendoza. We've talked about Caleb Downs. I want to talk about the edge rushers. I want to know, who do you guys think is that number one edge in this class? Do you think Ruben Bain, or do you think the arms are going to hurt him, or do you think it's a David Bailey? Who do you guys have as that edge one in this class?
I think it's got to be Bain. That's just my pick for who I think is going to be the best.
That's fair. I mean, I know a lot of people are concerned about the smaller arms with him. They think he might have to move inside. But I think with what he did at Miami, especially in that playoff run, I mean, that's not something you see that is, that's talent right there. That is what you want to see from a star. But I want to know, what's your favorite combine drill? What are you guys most excited to watch the drills for,
I think it has to be the 40-yard dash. I mean, imagine seeing a 300-pound humongous dude running a 4.5. Like, that would be just absolutely insane. That would be something that, only few people will see. You know what I mean? It's just amazing.
Yeah, it's a feat of athleticism. What about you? What events stand out the most to you at the combine?
I have to agree. The 40-yard dash is absolutely incredible. I mean, it shows how fast the receivers are, how explosive the running backs are at the pocket, especially the D tackles. Imagine, as he said, literally a 300-pound man running a 4.5 at you, trying to hit you, knock you square on your ass.
Just watch Chris Jones' 40-yard dash, and you'll know what we're talking about. But I'm really excited for the 40-yard dash, too. That's all the time we have for this vlog. We'll be talking about MLB spring training after these commercial breaks.
I use Flex to buy my favorite snacks.
I use Flex to get me through my mornings.
I use Flex at my favorite campus restaurants. I love how Flex is a cashless payment method and can be used at all campus dining venues.
So, how do you use Flex?
Welcome back to Sports Zone. You know who I am, and I'm joined by Cooper Lyda and Dom Franks as we talk about spring training starting, guys. We're only 5 games into spring training, so it's pretty early, but who's impressed you so far for the Rangers?
In my opinion, first, I like the play from Sam Haggerty. Kind of unexpected, and I definitely think the Rangers have overperformed, in my opinion. And he's had about 4 total hits, so 1 run coming from that. But in one of his 2 games that he's played, he has had 3 hits and 3 RBIs. Kind of impressive.
That type of, it's small sample size, so you have to look at the individual games. And a game like that, it's impressive from a fringe roster guy. Dom, who stood out for you so far?
I also have to go with Sam. I mean, he is doing really well. He already has a double, and he's taken 5 bases and has a run. So, with the current batting average of 800 maybe changed now that they just played a game. But also another player that I'd like to talk about is Danny Jansen. He is had the lone home run for the Rangers. Again, they just played earlier today. But yeah, he was also pretty impressive in that game.
You always like to see the veteran catchers getting going in spring training. Like to see the hits from the home run from catcher. You love to see that. But I mean, what's disappointed you guys so far? 5 games into spring training. Again, not huge sample, but.
First, I got to mention it's a small sample, but like Nathan Eovaldi, 2 home runs in 2 innings. It's like, they're still ramping up, but it's a little concerning. But also another one, it's not more talent because of injury. Cody Freeman. I was kind of looking how he would get into that second base battle, but that kind of set him back a little bit.
Yeah, that injury was tough. You never want to see a guy who could start for you coming into the season getting injured, and a 3-month injury with a fractured back. That's rough to see. I know, Dom, you were really excited for him.
I actually, behind the scenes, I did have him as my impressive player
for a breakout.
To look out, as a breakout. And then I saw on the 21st, they announced that he got an injury and he's out for 3 months. But an actual disappointment that I can actually talk about.
You're not disappointed in him for getting injured.
Yeah, he just got injured. Nothing he can talk about that. He's known as a slow starter, but Corey Seager, I mean, that's just a name you know. Even if you don't know baseball, but you're from Texas, you know Corey Seager. In 3 games at 5 at-bats, he hasn't hit the ball 1 time. And he even has a strikeout already on the. I mean, it's just spring training. But having a strikeout in spring training as a known name for a Texas Ranger, that's just disappointing.
Especially when you're kind of the bridge between the 2 eras, because we moved so many of the veterans from the team, and Seager's kind of that last guy standing. And to start off disappointing, it's not great. You want in the real season, you want him to start hitting the ball. That's scary. But I think you mentioned something really interesting. You were interested to see how he got in the second base battle, the position battle there. What other positions do you think are kind of up for grabs in the spring training?
Other than second base, I got to mention the 5th starting pitching spot. I'm a little interested with that. There's a couple little candidates. So you got Jacob Blatz, Kumar Rocker, and I'm kind of interested in how if he can impress Cal Quantrell, non-roster invitee. It's going to take a lot, but you got to keep it at the top of the mind, maybe.
That's fair, Dom. Who out of those starting pitchers do you think could have a chance at that? The higher chance at that 5th spot.
Yeah, I mean, with the rookie Leateur actually taking a spot now, I mean, even if it's not technically set in stone, we know
we know Jack Leiter's starting.
We know he's taking a spot. I personally really like Rocker. I mean, an incredible ceiling if he can actually get there. He went 4-5 and has an ERA of 5.74 in his 14 starts, I think, as a minor leaguer. And I mean, that's just great. I mean, to see a pitcher do that and just to have that as a building block that you can go off of, it's just insane. And I mean, he was optioned only twice, so I mean, that's good.
The Kumar Rocker story is so interesting. Jack Leiter and Kumar Rocker are kind of 2 sides of the same coin. You have Jack Leiter and Kumar Rocker, both elite prospects coming into college, and then Kumar Rocker has the injuries where he signs with the Mets and then his deal gets canceled and goes back to college, and a lot of, a rocky path in the minors and everything. But with Jack Leiter, he was kind of dominant from day one. And they both are going to probably take a starting spot for this Rangers team. I'm really excited to see how they go. But another player I think is a young player I'm excited to see is Evan Carter, because World Series heroics in 2023, and then last year, not that great. Do you think that he could bounce back this year?
I'm actually hoping that's one of my breakout players. Like, it's like not really because we haven't seen his skill. We've definitely seen it. It's just a bit riddled with injuries. And I think, in my opinion, he definitely can get back to that skill and be a consistent all-star for the Rangers in the future.
And you really want that because you need those building blocks both in the pitching staff and in the position players. And right now the Rangers have a couple in the pitching staff, but the position players you want a little bit more from their young players, I'd say. And Evan Carter is a big piece of that. But, let's talk about the new manager. New manager in Texas, and it's Skip Schumacher, former player. I was shocked when I saw the name. I was like, he's managing already? He's already coaching? I feel so old. But he's really, harped in on a more, cautious style at the plate, more defensive, getting more out of at-bats. How do you guys feel that style is, translated as we've gotten into spring training?
I think I've definitely seen it working already. Like, we've seen a large amount of hits and being able to turn like those large amount of hits and like getting on base into those runs. And I appreciate it's like, they're manufacturing runs out of this instead of just like swinging for the fences and just being like more cautious with it.
That's fair. I think in today's game you have to be more analytical with your approach. And I mean, how do you feel about the Skip Schumacher approach so far?
I mean, I like it for a team that has a pretty good defense altogether. But I mean, just as a fan of the sport, I personally, in any sport, I love offense. So like,
you want to see those home runs.
Yeah, those 50 home runs this season or whatever. I mean, those are just, that's my style. And I mean, but it's a good. I mean, if you have that defense and you have that fielding and you have that pitching, you don't need to be insane at bat.
Sadly, sometimes your teams have to play boring. As much as we as fans want those home runs all the time, sometimes it makes more sense for the Rangers to play a little bit more cautious. And I think, sadly, this is a team that makes more sense with the pitching and the defense to play a little bit more cautious.
And with such like an old team as the Rangers, I mean, it fits the
they're not
style.
Running. They're not running and swinging hard at their old age.
Yeah, they're old. I mean, it used to be a very old team. Only probably with this year, it came in with we have a bunch of rookies and stuff that were ready to go out since they sent everyone else away.
We're really trying to get into that new era, but I want to stay back a little bit in the veterans. I want to get the old guys some love.
Yeah, I want to go back to the old stadium.
Yes. What veterans do you think could impress for this team that have been in spring training so far?
I'm a little interested in Mark Dana. I'm interested in how he plays because I know he's kind of struggled recently. I want to see him maybe have a return to form and possibly be that like power hitter for he was like he used to be, and maybe even back up at first base or outfielder.
I was about to say, Dom, if you want power, Mark Hanna, that's someone you want. You want those home runs. When he was on the A's, he was a machine with the home runs, but he did struggle recently, But are there any veterans that impress you, Dom?
I mean, we've talked about him a lot, but Haggerty, I mean, is he that old? No, he's not. But, he has experience. He's been around the league. So, I mean, just if you can get him out and into, like, his form, then he'll probably bring us to wherever we want to be.
That's fair, and I think you mentioned my other pick for a veteran that is impressive. That's Danny Jansen. I think Danny Jansen is as a backup catcher or maybe even a platoon guy is someone who could really improve the team. I think when he was with the Blue Jays, I really liked what he did. I liked his bat, and I think that I'm really looking forward to what he does with the Rangers. But I mean, speaking of this team, how do you guys think we're going to do this year? Do you have high expectations going into the year, or with this younger core, do you think that this is a year where you're kind of like, I just want to see the ride?
In my opinion, I think we definitely have a good shot at the playoffs and competing in the West. I feel like it has to be playoffs. Like we've definitely improved we have a solid pitching rotation, pretty good. And then I think we've definitely grown in our offense. We've not just more stability under our new Skip Schumacher. I definitely think playoffs are. Yeah.
Wow, okay, those are some high expectations, Cooper. I can't lie. Dom, do you share those expectations? Is it playoff or bust for you in this year?
I don't think it's playoff or bust necessarily, but I mean, I do say that, it is a young core, and that's just not how the game is played. You don't draft these players and then, okay, we're winning now. So it's like, give him a couple of years, and it is his first year as the manager. So I say, take the ride. They're developing a new system in Texas. Just do what you can if we do make it to playoffs. I mean, we don't have a losing record right now. We are 3-2 in, again, spring training. But still, you have a young core, you have standouts. So just play the game. If you make it to playoffs, hey, that's great. It shows you have talent, and it shows that you have the drive to make it. Make some more draft picks. Let these younger guys get a little bit more experience under their belt. And there you go. A World Series again, probably. I'd say the next 10 years.
Oh, okay. We're guaranteeing a World Series? That's some high guarantee. But I mean, Cooper, do you think that this pitching core is one of the best in the league? Because that's kind of been, our hopes are on the pitching staff this season. Do you think that this is one of the top 3 in the league?
In my opinion, yeah, it has to be up in the conversation. I'm maybe bordering on that. I definitely think so. We got Mackenzie Gore, we got Jack Leiter, Nathan Eovaldi, Jacob deGrom, and that potential 5th starter. I think it's definitely deep, and I think it should definitely be in the conversation, no doubt.
I mean, Dom, do you think it's a top 3 pitching staff?
I mean, I've already given my praises to Jack. So I mean, Gore isn't bad either. Eovaldi is obviously not bad at all, and then deGrom is probably one of the more better underrated pitchers in the league. And I mean, just those 4, then put it in your 5th, then you probably, have one of the best pitching staffs in baseball.
Man, I miss prime deGrom. Man, that's the best pitcher I've ever seen live. I don't care about anyone else in the league. That is the best pitcher I've seen live. I hope he gets some of that form back with us. But sadly, that is all the time we have to talk about Rangers. Hopefully it's playoffs this season. We'll see. Next block, we will be talking about the Winter Olympics for the final time. So join me after these commercial messages.
There's no harm in wanting to have fun while in college, but it's easy to lose track of how much you've had. Apps like Drink Control and Alkadroid can help keep track of your consumption and blood alcohol levels. If you or someone else does drink too much, the signs of alcohol poisoning are as follows: pale skin, vomiting, confusion, low body temperatures, irregular breathing, blacking out, and is hard to wake up or cannot be woken up.
Dude, are you okay? Hey, what's wrong? Wake up.
It's an exciting time of year, but it's important to be responsible. If you suspect someone is suffering from alcohol poisoning, get help immediately. You will not get in trouble for seeking help if you are underage. For more info and resources, go to UNT's Division of Student Affairs.
Are you tired of seeing the same old city? You want to learn something and go overseas? Then study abroad with one of many UNT Study Abroad programs. You can find a Study Abroad office right here at Markey Hall, room 145.
My study abroad program left on me a great impression. We have a lot of different programs and it varies. We have faculty-led, affiliate, and exchange programs. When you're ready to leave for your study abroad program from UNT, you're gonna go through the Canvas, you're gonna go through pre-departure, orientation, and modules.
The power to turn the world into your classroom is right here at UNT with our study abroad programs. Take flight and take in charge of your education.
Welcome to Sports Zone. I'm your host, John Phillips. I'm joined by Christian Bursich, and somehow again, Elias Freeman has gotten into the studio to talk Olympics. We know how they love it. I mean, the Olympics are over. We've been talking about them for, it feels like, the entire semester. How'd you guys feel about the Olympics as a whole?
I thought they were awesome. I mean, they always are. The Winter and the Summer Olympics, I think that they really contrast each other really well. Like, this might be so base to say, but I think it would be kind of lame watching the same one without the other in between every 2 years. Like, there are a lot of people who will say I'm wrong and that only the Summer Olympics are cool, but those people are objectively wrong.
Hey.
Like, the Winter Olympics are awesome. Like,
I think it's crazy to say the Summer Olympics are the better Olympics. I think that's a crazy take.
That's an opinion a lot of people on Twitter and the internet are saying right now.
I know we're on the Winter Olympics blog, but I agree. I think the Summer Olympics are better. Sue me. I know.
Bad take.
I know. Since I hate the Winter Olympics so much, I'm gonna let you guys talk about who you love for America. You know, what medalists impress you the most for the United States this Olympics?
My favorite gold medal, it has to be that overtime winner from Megan Keller. Like, come on. I will say, with the hockey, I am sad that it was 3v3 overtime. What are we doing? You deserve a real overtime. This is the Olympics.
Absolutely.
20 minutes of 3v3 then a shootout? What kind of rule is that? So was a little bit disappointed in that, but that game was just incredible. I mean, Hillary Knight. Free bird. Hillary Knight coming in with like 2 minutes left to play. Captain America scoring the go-ahead goal. Like, gives me chills just thinking about it. So that was my favorite gold medal.
That's fair, Christian. What gold medalist did you love the most?
Michaela Schifrin. I mean, after the 2022 collapse, the 2024 injury, I mean, I can sit here and act like she was some underdog. She's the best in the world. Everyone knew she was the favorite going in. But like I said, she's coming off of an injury, coming off of the last Winter Olympics where she didn't win a single medal. There was some valid doubt, room for, is the same collapse going to happen again? And I think it just showed the American spirit, really, as cheesy as that is to say. Like, she talked about her dad dying before the games, like doing this for the first time without him. I think that those are powerful stories, powerful narratives, and it shows that like the Olympics even go beyond sports. Like for her, it was about family. It was about doing it again. She was the oldest woman to ever medal in the slalom run. So I believe
think she's now the youngest and
yes,
the
youngest
oldest.
and the oldest,
I mean,
18 and 30. Yeah, those are amazing stories, and I mean.
That's fair. And I think we also have to talk about the margin of victory. I mean, she won by 1.5 seconds on the slalom.
Biggest margin since like 1989, ever for the women. But for in all of slalom since like 1989. I think
just absurd stuff to see. But my favorite gold medalist, I think it's most people out there's favorite gold medalist, the internet's favorite gold medalist, Alyssa Liu. I mean, I'm a sucker for a Bay Area alt girl. I mean, performance to stateside, Leve. I mean, she's speaking right to my heart. So, I mean, those performances, I was moved by her performances genuinely. Leve performance, the short program was insane. I love that.
I absolutely agree, but can we stop asking her about anime? Like, she's out here doing the amazing things we've ever seen, and they're like, so what's your favorite anime? Like, okay,
yeah, they want to tap into the internet, but yeah, we got to give her some real questions because of how dominant she was. I mean, this is a gold medalist for a reason. So, yeah, but I mean, America as a whole had a pretty good Olympics. You know, we finished sole possession of second place, 12 gold medals. After a little bit, it looked like we might get third place early on into the Olympics, but we got that second place. How are you guys feeling about that performance?
I will say, I'm going to get on my soapbox for a second. Of those 12 gold medals, 8 of them were won by women, and 63.6% of the total medals won by the U.S. were won by women. So I think we got to talk about it for a second. I mean, come on. You have people laughing in the face of women's sports right now. I think you got to look at the Olympics, and for the 6th time in a row, women got more medals than the men, and I think you got to acknowledge it and talk about how prominent women's sports is right now, especially when women's hockey is one of the biggest growing sports in the world right now. And I think it's super special to see on my
Absolutely.
behalf.
I mean, I think that women's sports as a general are growing so much right now globally, and a performance like this with these stars, you know, Michaela Schifrin and Alyssa Liu, the women's hockey team, you see all these star performances from American women, and I think that's really big for the growth of women's sports in general in America. So I completely agree with that point. But how did you feel about second place, 12 gold medals?
I think that it's great. I think that it's really interesting too, because when you look at the list of countries, we're talking about countries like up in the Arctic, up in Northern Europe.
They have no lights, no electricity, just snow.
Exactly, and
that's how I grew up.
Well, that's what I'm about to say. We can't act like there aren't places like that in our own country, but still, I think it's awesome to think that we come from this country where half of our states, it's a miracle if we get snow, and we have so many people competing in the Winter Olympics. Like you said, so many Bay Area. They're definitely not getting mounds of snow in San Francisco. So I think it's awesome to see like there's interest in these sports even in places where it's not like naturally occurring, if that's the right way to put it.
I think the United States just are the best country at sports in the world. I mean, I don't think anyone else compares. No matter what the sport is, Summer Olympics, Winter Olympics, anything outside the Olympics, we just win a lot.
And let's talk about it.
Particularly the women, though. Like, let's be real. Like we talk about the NBA, which that's changing the subject. But when it comes to the men, the American dominance, like in basketball, which has always been our sport, it seems to be waning. But you look at the women's side, soccer, basketball, hockey. Now we are just clearly like margins better above the rest of the competition, it seems like.
Yeah, and speaking of margins better than the competition, we whooped Canada in the men's and women's finals. It's always good when we get to beat little brother in the finals. You know, it's always nice. Let's talk about that. Let's start with you, Eli, with the women's hockey final. I know you want to talk about it even some more.
Talk about it.
Let's talk about that gold medal performance.
I mean, come on. I was watching that game and I was like, I have chills right now. I was like, this is so special to watch. It really healed something in me as the little girl who was the only hockey player in her state. It was so special to see. And the men's performance too was just phenomenal. And I'm going to get real nerdy here for a second. Ready?
Get real nerdy.
February 22nd, 1980 was the last time the U.S. men's team won gold in the Olympics.
That sounds so crazy to say.
That was the miracle on ice. That was U.S. versus USSR.
A country that doesn't even exist anymore.
Country doesn't even exist anymore. That was the last time men's hockey won gold in the Olympics. So to come back, win that 46 years later to the day, pretty cool. But I mean, both just great performances. Crazy how many overtime games we got there in the last stretch. Just like super special to watch as somebody who grew up playing hockey, and that's always been my favorite sport. Love to see it, and some great play there. The level of competitiveness is just unreal.
That's fair. And Christian, I want you to talk about the men's final. Talk about that a little bit.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. The men's, I mean, there was a lot of expectations coming in. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm based, but I personally don't think that everyone was expecting us to come out on top that game. Like, it was like, I heard people on Twitter saying, "Oh, well, at least like the women will for sure win the gold," but like the men should just be happy to have made it here. Damn. And I feel like that's like a consensus that a lot of people had. Like, the men should just be happy to have done this well. I kept hearing that, and we kept winning games. You know what I mean? Like, I think that it shows the growth for hockey. And just to play devil's advocate, I mean, Elias talked about being the only person playing hockey interstate. I'm one of the people who has never, like, outside of the Olympics a few days ago, I had never cared about hockey ever. Like, hockey is just not a sport I grew up watching, grew up being interested in. But seeing like the American spirit, the teamwork, the hype when we won, it meant something. It shows you that these sports, like, they really do mean something. The Olympics in general, it takes the sport and it raises it a level, and it makes you care about it if you didn't before.
That's fair, and you've talked a lot about it meaning more than just the sports, you know, and in this Olympics, it's meant a lot more than that, and I think for the men's hockey team, it definitely did, because they put it in memory of Johnny Gaudreau. You know, he passed away earlier this year, and the team said that they were playing for him. They held up his jersey afterwards. I mean, what does it do for a team to have that type of motivation, to have that, you know, not just on the field motivation, but also wanting to play for someone?
I mean, yeah, like when you're playing for somebody, it means everything. It takes it just, like we talked about how this is bigger than sports already, because you're playing for your country, but now you're not only playing for your country, but for the remembrance. Like, obviously the Olympics will always be remembered on a global stage, but when you're in part of one of these communities, like the sports communities, like everyone knows everyone when you get to that level, and to be able to honor an all-time great in our country's history of hockey, I mean, that's something special.
I think honoring Johnny Gaudreau is something so special. I mean, you talk about how you're not really a hockey guy, but
hey,
for
I know
hockey
the name.
fans,
I know.
Yeah, you know the name. But I remember where I was when it broke that Johnny Gaudreau had passed. Like, that's how big of a deal it was. And just knowing that he would have been on this team and he would have been such a key player of this team, seeing his legacy still honored today, I mean, it's gotta be something super special to his family. I mean, his family has done so much in his name and has just really pushed for this. The circumstances in which he passed were super tragic, and really pushed for more on that front and the safety on that front. And then to also see him still being honored at the Olympics almost a year and a half after he passed. I think it was October 2024 is when he passed. Just super special to watch.
I mean, yeah, it genuinely gave me chills. Like, even just talking about it here, I'm
getting emotional.
It's giving me a little bit of chills because it was just so big of a moment for the team. And this Olympics had a lot of those moments. And it was a really good Olympics for the United States. And I'm excited for the Summer Olympics, and I'm excited for the Winter Olympics when they come. But sadly, that's all the time we have to talk about the Olympics, so we won't be talking about it on the show again. Join Steven on Thursday night and me next Tuesday on Sports Zone. And I'll see you guys next week.